Welcome, my good people. I go by the name Farm with Maxwell. That's my YouTube channel, the animal lover himself. So good morning, good evening, good afternoon, and good night. It depends on the time you're watching this video, because we come from different regions. Today I'm going to dive in a topic of sheep farming. Mostly I'll talk about the Dorper sheep farming, where I'll handle everything that a farmer requires to know about sheep farming. Apart from the Dorper sheep farming, I'll just touch some other breeds of sheep that are being kept in Kenya, so that we can really enjoy about those breeds. Those are both local and exotic breed. I'll dive through them so that we can learn something and differentiate different breeds of this Dorper farming. Also, I'll be having a one-on-one interview with the farm manager for this farm, so that he can tell us about these Dorper sheep. And after that, I'm going to tell you what I know about sheep farming, because I told you I'm an animal lover. My experience to this farming about sheep is just good, because I've been in this field for so long. Before I call the farm manager, let me just go through the breeds of sheep that we have in Kenya. Then after that, we dive to other topics. Then I just give you a complete guide on how to raise sheep in your farms and other places, guys. So what I can just encourage, if you're new to this channel, make sure that you subscribe, like, share the video. So I'm going to dive to different breeds of sheep one by one, so that we can really appreciate the sheep that we have, let's say, in Kenya, because we have a variety of sheep. So I'll start with the local breeds. One of the local breeds that we have in Kenya is called, actually it is called red Maasai, which actually is reddish brown in color and fat tailed. When you just look back in the villages, you can see some red brownish sheep with a very big tail moving side by side, because in African nature we usually like that kind of a sheep because of the fat content in those tails. So one thing about those the red Maasai sheep, one of the characteristics that it has is about highly drought tolerant, resistant to internal parasite, and actually good mothering ability. So that means that they are adapted to this environment of Kenya region, so that we can really appreciate. It is basically used for meat production, but it has a low growth rate as compared to the exotic breeds of sheep. And remember, this sheep is ideal in some areas like semi-arid, arid, and also adapted to highlands with good feeding, guys. So some of the region why they are adapted include the likes of Kajiado, the likes of Narok, parts of Rift Valley. Those class of breed of this sheep does very well. So the next sheep I'm going to talk about actually is the Merino sheep. The Merino sheep originated from Spain via South Africa, and appearance it is white in color with white wool, slender frame, and traits for this sheep. Actually, the main trait is excellent wool quality. You can see this because when I was in baby class, we used to be told that our clothes that we wear, they come from wool, especially for sheep. So that the wool comes from Merino. Another thing, it requires intensive care, so it has to be maintained well so that we can achieve quality wool. And it is ideal actually for highland, cool highland, and parts of, in Kenya it thrives well in parts of actually Nyandarua and some places in Meru. So that because those regions are very cold, that's why they thrive there very well. The next breed that I'm going to talk about is the Hampshire. Actually, the Hampshire originated from UK, and the appearance, it has a black face and legs, white wool, and their traits actually is because it has a rapid growth rate and excellent meat conformation. So the use, basically it is used for meat, yeah, crossbreeding with the locals so that you can achieve good quality meat, and especially it thrives well in central highlands and good pasture. And another breed is the Romney Mash. Actually, for the Romney Mash, it originated from England, and it is a dual purpose breed. So that when I talk about dual purpose breed, I'm talking about it is good for meat and wool, and mostly it is good for pasture and based system, yeah. And it is less common in Kenya but found in few breeding programs, yeah. The likes of actually we have them in Kenya in the likes of maybe the Kagrik. They have those breeds of sheep. And lastly, I'll be talking about Somali sheep, yeah. For Somali sheep, they originated from northern, eastern Kenya and Somalia. And traits for these include, it has, this is a hair sheep, fat ramped and heat tolerant, because when I'm talking about northeastern side of Kenya, I'm talking about the drought places. So these this breed of sheep actually are, they can tolerate high temperatures, so that's why they are being grazed there. And actually the most community that graze this kind of sheep are the pastoral, because they can walk in a longer duration because of their ramped nature that contains a lot of fat, yeah? So then I'll be now diving, after the interview, I'll be now diving about the Dorper sheep farming. This is what I'll handle mainly, but in that topic I'll go beyond Dorper sheep, because I have to tell you the management practices of all these breed so that we can just improve the way we are farming. So I'm going to one-on-one with the farm manager so that he can tell us. I can just interview him, and after that I'm going to train us about other breeds of sheep so that we can really appreciate, yeah. Then introduce yourself so that we can know you, and yeah.
Good evening, my name is Steven from TK Farm. Wanyama, tuko na kondoo, tuko na ng'ombe. Ayo.
Okay, thank you for welcoming me in this session, yeah. I've seen that you people have ventured into Dorper farming, yeah? What have you tell us about Dorper farming? So basically this farm is meant for breeding purposes, yeah? So where did you get this sheep from? Yes. South Africa ram, yeah? The T5, yeah? T5 from South Africa. So that means that's we call it pedigree thing in South Africa, because South Africa is known for having good breeds of sheep. Because when I was talking about the origin of Dorper sheep, we get that this Dorper sheep started from South Africa. Now we have Dorper sheep in Kenya. So that's why we encourage people who want to venture to this farming, get your breed maybe from South Africa or good farmers here. Yeah, another thing, yeah, roughly, how much do you people get in this venturing in this business? How much? Like how much? Yes. Yes. How much does it cost? 150,000 for a ram. That's good venture. When you give it one ram, 150,000, that's a good venture. I think I was asking about these sheep here.
Super Nevia. At the same time, we are keeping
silage, yeah? So that's what you feed on. Then, do you have maybe some cases of diseases in your farm?
yeah.
rare cases, yeah, because I can see in terms of hygiene, in terms of management is perfect, yeah. For now, I think those are just the questions that I can ask you, because I don't want, because you are a busy person, yeah. I don't want to waste a lot of your time, yeah, so that you can do one who tricks in other animals, yeah. So me can just say thank you, yeah. You can just shake my hand. Thank you, thank you, thank you. So that I can proceed with my training to the farm, to my audience, so that we can learn, yeah. Yeah, thank you. You can miss some. So guys, I'm done with interviewing the farm manager, so I'm going to explain systematically what they keep here, because I'll show you these Dorper sheep so that we can really appreciate about these Dorper sheep. So categorically, let me show you the classes of these sheep, the way they've placed them. They have actually put them under class. You see, you can get maternity class where the male are, where they are maybe those that are pregnant, so that we can really appreciate. So I'm going to put the back camera so that we go around this room and we talk more about sheep, guys. Yeah, now I'm putting back camera. We now start from there, guys. In this chamber, these are the male sheep. You can see them. Yeah, these are the male sheep here in this room. They look this way. Then this room here, these are the sheep that they have kid in their stomach, so they are pregnant. This the lot having they are pregnant, this lot. Then let me go to another room. Let me show you another room of sheep. Show you another room of sheep. This is the maternity room. As you can see, we have lamps here. You can see some lamp like that one. This is the maternity room. And this group of sheep here, they are the sheep that are not met, yeah? They are just medium in size and they are not met. So once from here, they can now be taken to the male so that they can mate once they achieve the body weight. Yes, guys. So guys, you have seen the Dorper sheep here, and we can really appreciate what this farmer is doing. So what I'll start with is the history of Dorper farming. Yeah. So the history of Dorper farming actually started in South Africa in 1830s, where they crossed between two breeds of sheep. One of the breed of sheep, actually we call that Blackhead Persian, and another one was called Dorset horns. Yeah, those are the two breeds of sheep that were crossed, and from that is we achieved what we call the Dorper sheep. Let me just put the back camera. Yeah, we achieved this Dorper sheep. And one thing about these Dorper sheep, they adapt for arid and semi-arid, and they are fast growing, yeah, because you can see like this kid, yeah, this lamb here, it is just less than a month. This one is around 2 weeks old, yeah, thus, and it has achieved that weight. Another thing about these Dorper sheep, they are fast growing, hardy, and excellent for meat production. Then about characteristics on how to identify Dorper sheep. Yeah, one of the characteristics that you can see here, it is about the black head. You see all sheep here are black, they have a black head here, so that's how you can identify that this is a Dorper sheep. Another thing is about hair sheep. Yeah, it has minimal shearing required. Another thing is about the growth. It has actually fast growth rate and early maturity, the way I've just talked about it. Another thing we can talk about is in terms of fertility, because they have strong mothering ability, so that means that raising their lambs just take a short duration, and their mother are just they have what we call that something like union between the mother and the kid is excellent. Yeah, so that's what we call about mothering ability. Another thing is about excellent weight gain, so that means a ram. Yeah, I've shown you the ram And actually a ram can even go to up to around 140 kgs, and ewes around 60 kgs. Yeah, that is the recommended weight of the sheep, of the ewes. A lot of people usually ask me that why Dorper farming in Kenya, and my response is always that clear enough. I usually tell them this way. Yeah? So the reason why I encourage Dorper farming is about they can adapt to harsh climate condition, ideal for ASAL. So ASAL in full is arid and semi-arid. Another thing is about the high demand for mutton. Mutton is the meat from these sheep. We call that mutton. Another thing is about low maintenance due to their hair coat and disease resistant. Another reason is about short gestation. Actually, it can lamb like 2 times in a year, and because that is the major reason. Yeah, in setting up a Dorper farm, you require the following things. Yeah, one of the things that you require in setting this Dorper farm is land. Yeah, when somebody wants to set up actually the Dorper farming, yeah, the requirement for setting a Dorper farm like this, yeah, first of the things that you must have in mind is you must be having a good housing. When I'm talking about good housing, I'm talking about well ventilated. Yeah, you can see there is a lot of spaces here to allow free flow of air. Even let me just put the back camera. You see, okay, I don't even want to put the back camera. Yeah? You can see like here, there are some spaces here to allow aeration. Yeah, free flow of air inside here. That's the reason why they have put these timbers. Another thing is about accessible to water. This is water that we have here. Yeah? You can see this is water, so they access to this water ad libitum. What I mean by the word ad libitum is without restriction. So water should be always there. And another thing is about, okay, another thing is about salt leak, but this one I'll be talking about it when we talk about feeding these kind of feeding these species or this kind of breed of sheep. So another thing is about fencing. Yeah, you can see the whole of this premise. Yeah, let me put it. The whole of this premise is fenced well, so that you can avoid predators getting inside here. And this is just one of the good build unit for these sheep, and we can really appreciate. Yeah, another thing that I was trying to tell you is about breed selection and buying the stock. Yeah, when you are selecting a breed, yeah, I'm just moving towards the male so that I can explain something about when it comes to breeding. Yeah, remember this journey, you start slowly. Yeah, I usually encourage people that when you want to venture in this farming, yeah, especially you are not required even this farm. Let me just tell you a small history about this farm. This farm started by buying sheep from the local farmers, especially the regions for Narok, and from that is what they got this kind of breed. Yeah? For the male breed, actually they imported from South Africa the T5 from South Africa, so they were using that T5 to breed. So I'm just here in the male sheep so that I can describe something about these sheep here when I'm talking about breeding and the entire thing. Yeah? I'll go put the back camera so that we can learn. So actually what I usually encourage people about buying sheep, buy from reputable breeders. You can check them in some of the organizations such as KAGRIC, that is the Animal Genetics Center in Kenya. Like even Ilri they have actually these types of sheep, and also the breeder associations. We have a lot of breeder associations in Kenya that have good genetics. Yeah, remember genetics is the future of your farm. Yeah, when you take good genetics, it means you'll be getting pure breed of good breed of sheep. Yeah, another thing is when you select a healthy alert. You can see the entire flock, they are very healthy, alert animals with strong legs. You can see their legs, the way they are very strong, even the way they are walking. You can see that thigh, the way it is walking with a lot of, actually that is a good for conformation. Yeah. Another thing is avoiding inbreeding by rotating rams every 2 to 3 years. Yeah. The way I was telling you that we have some rams here. These are the rams we have. These are the 3 big rams, yeah, from different lineage. So when I'm talking about inbreeding is when you met cousins or brothers. Yeah, you have to avoid that, because when you do something that we call your flock, it is like you are taking your farm backwards. And remember, at the end of the day, we have to do a profitable venture. So the reason why I don't advocate for inbreeding, remember, when you do inbreeding, that means you reduce the hybrid vigor and the quality of your sheep. So avoid that totally. That's why you see that you can have increase in death rates and actually the stunted growth. Yeah? That is one of the reasons why you should avoid the inbreeding, guys. The next topic that I'm going to talk about is something of feeding these Dorper sheep. So feeding, it depends on the intention of the farmer. We have various systems for feeding these ones. Yeah? One of the feeding that people do mostly in Kenya, people put sheep under free range, yeah? Where you leave your sheep, it goes graze on the ground, then in the evening you close it here, then it sleeps. Yeah, but here where I'm standing, this is a zero grazing unit where sheep are being fed with actually a balanced ration in their diets. Let me show you the ration that they are here. This is the diet of these sheep that are being fed on. You can see we have here some actually the natural pasture, like the super hay and dry land grasses, like the boma rod. Actually they feed on boma rod. And another thing, they're being supplemented with hay, sometimes maize germ, cotton seed cake, and mineral blocks. Yeah, when I'm talking about mineral block, this is the mineral block that is here. And remember, when choosing a mineral block, remember, sheep have something that we call copper poisoning. Yeah, so avoid these blocks that have copper inside, because they will do what we call copper toxicity. So that means that it is very poisonous. It is a metal. So when it goes to the body of these sheep, you get that in terms of health wise, it won't be good for their health, and actually you lose through death. When I'm talking about this is a purely enclosure, and some instances you can find that farmers do what we call semi-intensive, yeah? Where during the day, sometimes within the day they get outside, then sometimes they remain inside. Yeah, so that means that just sometimes they are being taken outside and sometimes inside. And when you are raising these, ensure that there is always clean water. Like you can see here, we have a clean water. And actually for the zero grazing like this, make sure that you give them total mix ratio for intensive farming. Total mix ratio is this, yeah, because these sheep, when they graze outside, yeah, they scavenge in so many things. With that, you get that they supplement their body with different nutritional needs for their body, like proteins from the ground and some other basic things, like the vitamins from the greens. So with that, you get that they thrive well when they are outside as compared to inside, but they thrive very well inside when you just give them a total mixed ration, so that they can supplement their body with what they need. So next I'm going to talk about the management practices of sheep. Yeah? When I'm talking about management practices, so that I'll talk about the diseases, then I'm going to talk about the routine management, what you need to do to your sheep. Yeah. So for this breed of sheep, yeah, there are some of the diseases that it is like when you don't be conscious enough, they have to eat you, they have to hit you. One of the disease that I'm talking about is something like actually pneumonia. The pneumonia is very dominant, especially for the livestock. And remember that pneumonia is a bacterial infection, and basically it comes from maybe it can be predisposed, maybe due to cold. So that means when there is coldness, it actually manifests itself very well. Another disease for sheep is called PPR. Yeah? PPR in full is pest des petits, yeah? And that's a viral infection. So make sure that you do what we call vaccination for that specific disease. So another thing is about sheeppox. Yeah, when you look at the skin of the sheep, yeah, you see like it has some something like some swellings. Yeah, you see that it has some swellings. Another thing is about worms, especially the hemoncus. Yeah, hemoncus is where when it attacks a sheep, you get that it has a bottle jaw. Bottle jaw is the swelling of this chin. Yeah, you see where there is a chin, you get that your sheep is swollen there. So that's what hemoncus does. Another thing is about foot rot. Make sure that you trim. You see like this one, it has like we call them in Kiswahili wanchoma. The front of the shoes is like it is very sharp. So like this one, it's supposed to be trimmed. Yeah, that is this can lead to what we call actually foot rot. To avoid foot rot, they have to make sure that these hoofs are trimmed very well. Yeah. So I'm going to talk about something else about these sheep. Yeah. Make sure when you venture to these thing, yeah, make sure that you do what we call vaccination. There are vaccinations that are must to these sheep farming. One of the vaccines is the Jovaclost. Jovaclost actually it entails the enterotoxemia. Okay, it prevents the animal against the enterotoxemia. That is a pulpy kidney. And apart from enterotoxemia, it actually prevents these sheep from tetanus. Yeah, it has a combination of tetanus inside, so make sure you vaccinate your sheep against that. Another vaccination that is very good you have to do is about the PPR that I've talked about. Another vaccine is about even for sheep, you can do what we call the vaccination for CCPP, that is contagious caprine pneumonia. It is not only meant for goat. Yeah? Even sheep too need that vaccine, even if this comes from another class of this is another class of livestock. Yeah, make sure you vaccinate against that. Another thing is about anthrax. Yeah, remember anthrax is a zoonotic disease. It can be transmitted from this sheep to human, maybe through touching the maybe carcass that is infected, and maybe when consuming a dead carcass that was infected against anthrax. Make sure you vaccinate against that. Remember, anthrax is a killer disease to this population, and apart from being zoonotic, it is also contagious. Yeah, so that means it can spread from one sheep to another sheep. Another vaccination that I can talk about is the vaccine for actually foot and mouth. Yeah, so foot and mouth is when you go and get that your sheep has some sore mouth, so that means the mouth part here has some wound. So that is what we call a foot and mouth. So avoid something about our foot and mouth in your farm, because it will hinder the health of your animal. Yes. So I'm going to talk about routine management. Yeah. Routine management is something about deworming. Make sure that for the lambs, yeah, you deworm every month until they attain an age of around 3+ months, so that you can now start deworming after every 3 months. Because you know, when you have a worm burden, remember they can lead to stunted growth, because these worms, these are parasitic infection, so that you can get this parasitic infection, depriving nutrients from the body of these sheep, so leading to losses in terms of nutrients. Another thing that has to be done in these sheep is about, especially, you can see these sheep, they don't have tail. Let me show you. You can see these sheep, they don't have tail. Yeah? This is what we call docking. Docking is the cutting of the tails for a sheep, and the reason is this why tail docking is done, yeah? To prevent parasitic infection. Yeah? When parasite infect these, because they like hanging around the tail, yeah, when they hang around the tail, and also there is something that we usually call a fly strike, the things that they look like maggots. Yeah, to prevent such things, you have to cut the tails. And even cutting these tails, you can see the way they look good. Yeah, it is making them beauty, so they really look beautiful. Yeah, they really look beautiful because they don't have tails. And another thing is about for easy mating. Yeah, when these sheep, they don't have tails this way, they facilitate tapping. Yeah, tapping is the mating for these sheep. Another thing that I can talk about is about hoof trimming. Yeah, make sure that you trim your hoofs mostly around every 2 to 3 months, so that you don't have cases of foot rot. Another thing that I usually advise farmers, yeah, make sure that you work with your vet very well. Yeah, remember, for me, even if I'm giving advice, I just have this gift for animals. Yeah, I'm just doing what I'm just helping these animals. Yeah, because I'm just gifted with that this knowledge about animals. Yeah, because I was in this farm some years back, and that's where I knew all about animals. My journey started from this farm. Like, now I've just come for benchmarking. Yeah, so let's proceed with what we were discussing. So you having a veterinary in your farm is very good, because when you have problem, the only people that will solve your problem are the vets. Make sure you don't treat your animals by yourself, because you will cause more harms to them. And don't buy drugs, so that, because you don't know which drug for which disease. Yeah, that is what I can tell you about this treatment thing. Yeah, so I'm going to talk about another topic that we can breeding. Yeah, when we are talking about breeding, something maybe like mating and the entire thing. Like, you can see I'm inside the room here where we have the male one. Yeah, let me show you this male. The room that we have the male sheep here. And actually, for rams, yeah, at 6 months they're enough to do what is called mating. Yeah, you can do mating to them when they are 7 to 8 months. Yeah, and remember, when they come on heat, this female, yeah, when these female are on heat, yeah, there is something that we call estrous cycle. Remember, the estrous cycle starts is around 17 to 21 days. Yeah, when it comes on heat, it can be back on heat after around 17 to 21 days. Yeah, another thing that you have to do, use control mating to manage genetics. Yeah, make sure you maintain your genetics. Yeah, if you have genetics for mothering ability, make sure you maintain that. Genetics for maybe meat conversion, maintain that. Genetics for traits for something like we call it for adaptability, maintaining that. And remember, they have a lambing interval of around 8 months with proper management. Yeah, so that means in the next 8 months it should give you a kid, so that it can raise to maturity. Another thing about something like breeding, yeah, make sure that you do proper nutrition, yeah, during the gestation and lactation, because there are some videos that I posted previously about gestation, lactation, how to do management practices for this. Just go look through other videos so that we can really appreciate my training entire thing, guys. So another topic that I have to handle is about keeping correct record, because you can see these sheep, they have identification. Let me show you the identification. Yeah, you can see they have ear tags. Yeah, these are ear tags. These ear tags are being used for identification so that you can track maybe breeding, health treatments, weights, sell, and other expenses in the farm. You can even use notebooks or even digital like tools like Excels or farming app. Yeah, so with keeping farm, yeah, it means you are now in a business, because anything you do in your farm, it has to be counted for. Yeah, you can count that one, and actually you can track that, especially for the health management and breeding. Yeah, you know, this lamb was born in this period, and this animal was treated for this disease. You can follow the records very well. So I'm going then to talk about another topic that we call marketing for Dorper sheep. Yeah, when I'm talking about how to market Dorper sheep, we have various ways of marketing Dorper sheep, and one of the ways is we call it targets, yeah, where you can sell to local butchers, hotel, export markets, live animal trades. That's what you can usually do. Yeah, the reason why I'm doing a proper, actually something like marketing these, you can sell. When I'm talking about butcher, that means they are going to be slaughtered and people consume as meat. Another thing, somebody can choose maybe to sell live animal to other farmers, so that even that farmer can get this good breed of sheep, so that it actually can get this good breed of sheep, so that it can keep the way you are keeping this breed. Yeah? Sometimes people choose to do what we call value addition, where you add value. Yeah? What I'm talking about value addition is when you slaughter, then you choose to package your meat and brand your meat, then sell it to other people. That's something that fetches a lot of fortune, yeah, when you do value addition. Yeah, because I usually advocate farmers to do value addition when you have muscles. Yeah, do value addition, because you can really generate good income. And make sure that when you do this farming, especially for animals, be somebody who you are in different, maybe social media, you participate in you participate in livestock and auctions and shows, and make sure that you explore cooperatives, marketing with other sheep farmers, so that you know what is happening. So another thing that I'm going to talk about is economics of Dorper farming. So that when I'm talking about economics, this is where every other person should listen very well, yeah, because I'm getting tired. Yeah, so one thing is about initial costs. Yeah, initial costs, that means you have to be having breeding stock, housing, water system, and fencing. Those are the economics. Yeah, another things about the recurring cost, that means feed, vet services, and labor. That's what we call actually a recurring cost. And then income is when you sell maybe the live sheep, lambs, meat, skin for these sheep. Another thing that we call even break even. Actually what we mean by break even, it means typical within 12 to 18 months under good management. So I'm going now to talk about challenges and solutions. So one of the challenges that you have to expect when venturing to these type of farming, is about outbreaks for diseases. Solve with biosecurity and vaccination. Once you do that, very good. When I'm talking about biosecurity, I'm talking about hygiene. So make sure that you keep good hygiene, then you will be there. Yeah, make sure you maintain hygiene. Another thing is about market access. Actually, for market access, do what we call solve with branding and cooperative. With that, you'll be achieving your ambitions. Another thing is about water scarcity. When I'm talking about water scarcity, so that means you have to invest in water harvesting. Yeah, we have different ways of harvesting water. You can dig a borehole, you can build a big tank so that when rain rains, you collect enough water to supplement water to the entire period. Another thing about predators, yeah, make sure you fence in a secured place and night housing, yeah, so to prevent predators from coming in and other things. Yeah, so why is this we have a lot of success stories in Kenya? This is because of the case studies that are being conducted in various regions in Kenya, like in Isiolo, Kajiado, Laikipia, and Machakos farmers. Yeah? And another thing is about you can now see youths in agribusiness using Dorper for quick cash flow. That's what we call the success stories in Kenya, how people are making fortunes in doing this sheep farming. From the expert tips, final thoughts, yeah, I usually tell people that start small and scale with the experience. That is one of my expert tips I usually tell people. Another thing is about joining a sheep farmer association. When you're in a farmers association, you get updated with what is going on and what people are doing. Another thing is keep learning, yeah, and attend training. Actually follow YouTube content like this, because for me, I'm just a content creator. I'm trying to educate every other person about what is really happening in the ground and the entire thing. Yeah, another thing is about practice good genetics and marketing. Yeah, you have to know how you do your things in the right way. So what I can just say from what I've just trained you guys, make sure that my hand is getting tired. One of the days I know a good Samaritan will volunteer and we get something like a good camera that I won't be getting tired. I have to stretch my hand. So with that, what I've talked about, I think when you just focus on my training, you will do this venture in a success. Because me, I usually wish people keep animals, because these are agriculture now is the backbone of this country. When people venture into agriculture, so that means they can get money from it. Yeah. One time I usually tell my people, I'll venture in agriculture. When I have money, this is what I'm going to do. Animal farming, that means I'll be raising cattle, I'll be raising sheep, I'll be raising goat, chicken, so that at least I venture to that. That will be my business. For now, I don't venture in any business. If you have liked this, what we have talked about today, make sure you leave a comment, you like, share to other people. Yeah, because basically I've constructed this YouTube channel so that we can learn. That's enough for today. Let's meet some other day. Thank you guys. Yeah.